Hello, Lamar Shepard with Young Blood Athletics here for part 3 of our series, Reconnect with Early Stage Development. Here on the first Saturday of college football season, so I enjoyed a cup of coffee this morning while catching up on a few games, and perhaps what's certainly a luxury is the opportunity to simply roll downstairs to work out in our personal studio. In the first 2 parts of this series, we explored rolling as an early stage milestone or movement pattern. Second thing we explored was crawling and some of the cross-body coordination patterns that we find in that pattern. Today we're going to talk about half kneeling, or what some people might think of as part of a lunge pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and take a spot on the ground here. So again, as I progressed through those milestones as a child, as a little person, this is one of the next milestones that I discovered. There are 3 fairly important points or key points that we want to talk about. First of all is, notice my foot is now in contact with the ground. Right? So that brings up 2 important points. One is I'm now starting to establish a relationship with the ground, which is going to be important as I really start to move. Walking, running, jumping, all those things start with a firm foundation or relationship between my foot and the ground. Second thing about my foot position is I now have the opportunity to leverage a very important network of nerves or proprioceptors in the bottom of my foot. So these proprioceptors allow me to establish my place in space and time. The next important thing about this milestone or this half kneeling position is this is now my first real balancing act or challenge in this position. And again, that balancing act is going to become very important as I progress on to walking, running, so forth and so on. Last thing I want to talk about is this idea of hip extension. So notice my down leg, my knee, with my down leg, my knee is firmly stacked with my hip and my shoulder. So if I turn to the side just a second, or just a bit, this idea of hip extension is very important because it allows me to move my body forward, again, either walking, running, or jumping. So this half kneeling position as a child, as a milestone, is also a very important introduction to the idea of hip extension, okay? So that being said, again, this is a really good opportunity for you to either use that pattern in a warm-up. Certainly that's a position we find a lot of people using in the weight room environment, either as part of a lunge or even as part of a challenging position to do some rows or other types of movements. All right. So tune in next week. We'll continue on. We've got a few more milestones to talk about, and in the meantime, have fun and certainly try out these movements.